And it's
And welcome, guys, back to the long awaited return of Dr. Uwe Boll in Uwe Boll Raw with me, Gary Otto, and Uwe Boll. Welcome, Uwe.
hi. So you're sick. You look like you are sick. You told me you're sick for a few weeks already.
Yeah, I'm sick. That's part of the reason why there's been a delay, besides the fact that of other things that you've been busy, I've been sick. So,
Look,
yeah, no.
I couldn't be sick because I was in New York shooting First Shift 2 and 3. And uh, if you get sick, then you have to just ignore it. But I was lucky I didn't get sick. Natalie got sick here in Germany, so I had a problem with her here. She needed then some help. She thought she had a blood clot.
Oh,
Uh,
God.
yeah, like a thrombose kind of thing, but it was not the case. And but some lab blood tests were too high, so they still figured out what it is exactly, but it was not a blood clot. So and she had that before. So when you have like when you easily get a blood clot, it's like the risk is just higher. You know, when something happens, you got a swollen leg and it really hurt. That's kind of a sign that something is not floating there, you know. So, yeah, but
Yeah, I hope she feels better. That's horrible. I
now
mean,
she feels good. I mean, now she feels good. And I, I'm very happy about the New York shoot. Everything worked out well. All the actors, Gino Pesi, Kristen Renton went back. Tia Hodge for Lieutenant Walden, Gary Pastore for the mafia guy Valenti. Um, Various actors from the first part came back, but this time we also have new actors like Saul Rubinek, Joanne Barron, Will Rossar. Um, I think we got a lot of new actors who are actually proven in a lot of productions that they can deliver. So I'm looking very forward to now the editing process. Easton Manikis from Statista Vigilante, Run, he's editing it again. He did First Shift 1. So that's all good. Makes me all very confident that we can finally move it to Paramount Plus again, but also that Paramount Plus hopefully gives us good money for it, and that they also give us a shot to produce like 8 episodes or something. So that was the plan why we did this now.
yeah, it's an exciting time. I'm very excited. And I know that you purposely did not say very much during the shoot about being in New York because you didn't want to be accosted by your fan base. Is that right?
Yeah, no, not really. But everybody knows from the first part that we had a very chaotic production and union interference and stuff like this. And in general, I think, and this time not, everything worked flawless, no problem. So very good crew. The thing is this, where I
So
think,
the problems were different. There were no problems like that this time.
no, no.
Okay, good.
There was like, I mean, the problems is if you shoot 2 movies in like 20 days, that was the tough part. We had enormous pages to shoot every day. We had a day with 22 pages in the script.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know, that's really crazy. And but that was the point that Gino Pizzi and me, but the whole time we worked together to get the best cast possible, and also cast, for example, a lot of actors who came worked with him before, and he knows who is good with learning lines. He knows like that person will deliver, you know. So and that was key. If you have, we have a part, for example, from Priest. It's only like basically 2 shooting days, but that priest is a witness of a serial murder situation, and we see him like in the church. So he had like 13 pages alone, like what he had to learn, right? And he brought them like in a day, like pop, 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 pop. and good, like not like you think he learned the lines, right? So he lived the lines, and that is where you feel like this kind of professionalism. And that, I mean, that's in New York great because you have so much talent, right? So you have so many people in New York who are really good actors, and then you can hire them locally. And this time we also are qualified for the New York tax rebate. So this time I hope I get a tax rebate back, similar to Canada, similar to Croatia. And all of this made me basically being in a positive mood about everything, you know. And then I went in between to your ex-employer trauma, to trauma dance, to the festival.
Yeah.
And we had various crew people, like Poppy, our production designer. She worked for Trauma before, and she was there with the whole crew. So and it was fun. I mean, Lloyd Kaufman is really old now. I mean, he looked really fragile in a way when I met him there. And but he was happy that I came. But I mean, how old is he now? What do you think?
Oh, well, he was pretty old 25 years ago when I worked with him.
Yeah.
Like that was a long time ago. And think of it, I was 20 years old and now I'm 46. So he must be really fucking old. I mean, he must be in
Maybe,
his
maybe it's
in
eight.
his 70s,
Yeah.
I want to say. Let me look it up actually.
Yeah,
Let's look
look
it
it
up.
up. He's so small also, no? He's so tiny. And
Oh yeah. No, he never got fat or anything like that. So let's see. Lloyd.
he's like a Woody Allen type. These
Yes.
people live forever. Small
Yes.
and slim. So
With a better legacy than Woody, I think. So let's see. He is born in 1945, in December 30th, 1945. So that would make him,
80.
Jesus, wozers. That sucks. Well, for an 80-year-old, he sure is pretty spry, you know?
And he continues. You know, he's like Martin Scorsese, Ridley Scott. I mean, they also keep going. You know, you have to basically shoot them before before they stop working. But you know, if you have the opportunity, they still get the money, and they have nothing else to do. You know, they're not like having a family anymore. I think Martin Scorsese never really had a family, so why not keep shooting? You know, and
So did you see what Ridley Scott said in the news recently about how all modern movies are shit and he only watches his own movies now?
yeah, but I doubt that he's watching then his Napoleon movie with Joaquin Phoenix a lot because that was shit. So you know,
Do you think that it'll get so bad that you will watch only your own movies?
no, no. I'm too interested in watching all kinds of movies. I watched in the airplane Last Showgirl with Pamela Anderson, and
Oh,
I felt it's a little like The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. You know, you have kind of a washed up actor playing a washed up person. So, and that's like this kind of comeback movies. What worked in The Wrestler was clearly better as The Last Showgirl. But I mean, it's kind of, she is kind of a dancer in Las Vegas, but I mean, she's like 55 or something like this, you know. And all the other dancers, the other actresses, they're 25 and 30, and then she gets fired, and her whole show gets closed because it's just over, you know. And then like her whole world is collapsing. And but she plays it in a Jamie Lee Curtis is in it too, and Jamie Lee Curtis plays even an older kind of dancer who is now in the casino just serving drinks and still dreams from dancing or something. So it's a very, I mean, Las Vegas can be really depressing. Let's say it this way, you know, when you have the loser stories in Las Vegas, then it's very, very depressing. But it's not, the movie didn't went so deep down to a disaster, negative, depressing show as The Wrestler was, you know. So but in a way, there are a lot of this kind of movies. You know, I mean, the last Rocky movies with Stallone were also this kind of, you know, the last attempt. I need to, like Rocky Balboa. People like this underdog things, but in the wrestler or Last Showgirl, she didn't. They don't win. That's the reason the movies were not big hits, but you get definitely nominations.
Or like the last Rambo.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
That was a fucked up movie, dude.
yeah, and I mean it was good for also 4 weeks in New York not to talk too much about politics or see or look too much into the news. Um,
I
but
know it's everywhere. You're right. You're right.
and it's a good antidepressant not to look into the politics too much, and but the thing, of course, what happened there was that Charlie Kirk guy got shot. I already did a video about it. You know, I'm not a Christian, so I'm an atheist. So I think all this hocus pocus religious stuff is all total bullshit. But he definitely was not a crazy conspiracy theorist or whatever, what the people wanted. Like some people wanted to make him like a right wing Ku Klux Klan member. And that was also, it's just wrong. That was not what he is. He was an ultra Christian who could talk very good. I mean, the videos, like, he was very rhetorically on the point on most of stuff. But then when they did the funeral and did that huge football stadium, 100,000 people stuff, there I felt, okay, it looks like it's a lot of money involved here, you know, and
Yeah.
a lot of like, and that the woman, the wife, I mean, if you are married, have two little kids, and your husband gets shot, that she was within 3 4 days in the public and talked to masses and did that huge funeral. I don't know. It would be not, let's say it this way, it would be not my way to have grief, you know.
Yeah, it was like a Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah, you know,
Like
yeah, with music and everybody, and it was this kind of like Elon Musk. I mean, there were, everybody was in that stadium, and it was crazy. You know, it was really crazy, and
it just shows you how much is invested in them selling the theory that the assassin was. I mean, I hate to talk politics. I'm not trying to talk politics, but there's a lot invested in what they're trying to push. The White House really wants to push that fight, 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 us versus them, real Americans versus fake Americans. And I think it's gonna come to a point. I really am scared that it's gonna come to a point in the future where if people disagree, it'll be that's a real American and that's a fake American. And then the fake American will be tried like we see with Comey and various other people. You know what I mean? Like
but there
that
is
aren't necessarily committing crimes.
no, I mean that's visible, but there is also um, Bill Mayer brought it good up in his new rules when he said what the left and the right and the Republicans and Democrats have to get out of their brains is that if somebody gets shot, that this person was a left or right person. Most of the people who killing other people, the guy who shot in Trump's ear and killed the other guy, or Charlie Kirk, or other stuff, the guy with the hammer and Nancy Pelosi, there
Yeah.
are mentally disturbed people first and foremost. You know, they are not party members. It's not like I'm running for Congress, now I'm pissed and shoot the fucking Charlie Kirk in the head. No, they are all mentally ill people for whatever reason got pushed to a decision that it brings them any whatever glory, you know, like support from the wrong side or from any side to do an act like this.
So
And
you mean they just do it for like the glory of like being infamous in history?
yeah, I feel they're not aware of the consequences, right? When you see the mugshot of the guy they arrested for the Charlie Kirk thing, or the guy who killed the United Healthcare guy, the Mangione guy, that Italian guy,
Luigi, yeah.
you know. So they're getting. It looks almost like going for this I'm a nobody, and now I am somebody. And they're not getting it that in the very end, they have maybe another glory time in court at the trial, and then they're disappearing into no man's land, like they will fucking sit there for 40, 50, 60 years in a jail cell, and nobody will emailing them anymore support. They're not part of a club. They're not like, see, I did it for us, for the Antifa, or I did it for us, for whatever, the white brotherhood. It's all bullshit. It's like there are, and I think that's a big mistake from the media, that they always want to make this kind of psycho killers. And I mean, I did a lot of movies about exactly this kind of people running amok for various reasons, right? So, and I think first and foremost, they have a depression. They're on a medication, like the shooters from by Heart of America film, and so on and so on. And I think that Bill Mayer nailed it there, that we have to get away from it politicizing everything like this. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's like that the whole funeral thing of Charlie Kirk was a celebration against the Democratic Party. Like the
Yes.
Democratic Party had anything to do with the killing of Charlie Kirk? Zero. And that's
And that is the
that's
fucking
dangerous.
problem. It was one dude. It was one dude. you know?
Yeah,
And
but
yet they make it seem like it was the whole fucking party conspirator, conspirating about Charlie Kirk as if we planned it. You know what I mean? It's bullshit.
no, but
And
also,
that's
but
but yeah.
yeah, no, or you finish first. You finish first.
Well, no, no, I was just gonna say that's what they want you to believe, is that they want you to believe that the Democrats are these evil fucking democrats that want to kill you, want to take your family away, want to take your liberty away, want to tell you how to live your life. It's all this shit, and I don't necessarily believe it's true. It's like demonizing the party, and what I think the ultimate goal is to demonize um uh basically protest in itself and try to get rid of all of the naysayers, all the people who say differently than what they do. That's the ultimate goal, is to kind of like filter out the system.
Yeah, but you have, I think, what in the US now, like, look, that I had a lot of positive things about Trump, but I'm also, as independent thinker, see that when you run on free speech and then you destroy free speech and you pressure people out, right? Did the Jimmy Kimmel thing happen when I was in New York, right? So
Yeah.
the thing with Jimmy Kimmel is this, similar to Colbert. If these shows losing money, they can be canceled, no problem. But you cannot cancel them because they say something. And exactly that happened. They basically came up later with the point they lose money, right? So but they first and foremost reacted to a political. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel, Colbert, all these people are of course against Trump. They were always against Trump. Late night hosts are always Democratic, always left, and you barely have people. They're more like Bill Mayer, more in the middle, and they give shit to both sides. Jimmy Kimmel was very much, let's say, MAGA and anti-MAGA, anti-Trump, whatever, all his years. So that's crystal clear that Trump is not happy about Jimmy Kimmel. That's 100%. I would be also not happy about Jimmy Kimmel if I would be Trump. But the point is this, if the audience want him, then he should be on air. And if there would be, you have it Fox News, Goodfried, who is MAGA, right? So it's like every channel has his entertainers for the people they watch the specific channel. But where I was very aggressive against the Trump stuff is you cannot go then to the car guy who's responsible for licenses and whatever, and then tell him, you make Jimmy Kimmel go away. You make him, you pressure Disney in cancel Jimmy Kimmel. And
Yeah, the problem is that he's fucking announcing it, dude. It's like it would be, and then they're making up excuses for it. That's all they are, is excuses. Like, yeah, oh, he doesn't make money. It's a ratings issue. That's
that's what I
bullshit.
mean.
ABC is afraid of losing their license, you know,
So
because
that's
Trump
what we're saying.
announces
And
it.
where the carrier, Next Star, and the other one said we don't air Jimmy Kimmel anymore. Then Disney pulled the plug on Jimmy Kimmel, and then people started canceling Disney Plus. Then Disney Iger was calculating with what I make more money. What is more important for us? We cannot lose 20 million users at Disney Plus, and that is how Jimmy Kimmel came back on, right?
Yeah.
It was a battle, and it was not never, let's say, a fight for freedom of speech. It was basically like, how can we censor? And that's Trump moving very much ahead with it. How can he basically get the media turned around in his favor, and any possible way he can do it, he's doing it against the law, against the constitution. And that is why I give him a lot of shit about it, and say, look, I understand frustration. If I'm the president and get criticized left and right, I'm pissed about all these people too. But you cannot like interfere with the freedom of press and the freedom of the whatever. You have to leave it to the audience. You have to leave it to the companies who put things, who produce things. And that's where I criticize him for. Also, the fact, for example, on Twitter, I'm still shadow banned. How is that possible, right? If they run on everybody, and especially Elon Musk, who says you cannot have the censorship, you can't blah 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 blah. But strange enough, he didn't unshadow ban me. And I assume if I'm shadow banned, there are still millions of people shadow banned on Twitter, and they never revoked it. And that's the thing. So that's for me where I'm getting allergic. The same stuff with the Epstein files. If you say I release all the Epstein files and then you don't because I'm in it, that's not the way the deal was. That was not the day he promised to be the president.
Dude, I read some article the other day about some guy who claims to have seen pictures of Trump from Epstein himself with naked, topless, underage girls. So, like, there's probably a ton of really damning evidence in there.
Yeah,
And
but
it,
why is it not really leaking? Why that photos are not somewhere I can see?
I don't know. I think, honestly, I think it's because it's like a camaraderie. Like, they're all presidents and they don't want to make each other or the institution of the United States of the presidency look bad. You know what I mean? Because it would be a huge conspiracy. It would bring down, it would make them look like laughing stocks. You know what I mean? If they knew that Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, but I'm sure that both of them were involved in this in some capacity, and it's going to make both Democrats and Republicans look bad. So they were kind of like, oh yeah, let's just bury this and forget about it. But I think there's a lot of mystery behind this. Like Virginia Goeffrey, whatever her name is, how do you pronounce it? She just suddenly commits suicide. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people are just related to Epstein and related to Trump and related to this case, just suddenly very close to this case have died. And that's pretty mysterious to me. I mean, I would love to talk to her, and especially in this time when all of these victims are supposedly coming out, wanting to tell their stories. And what did one of them say? That Trump was his biggest bragging point, was Epstein's one of his biggest bragging points, and all sorts of fucking weird shit. Like that
Look,
Epstein had a first edition of what, Lolita.
yeah. But think about, what? So it's proven now. He sued Murdoch for this, the little picture he drew for Epstein from the
Oh yeah.
raptor. And I mean, the lines he wrote under it, like, let's have a lot of secrets still with, like stuff like that. It was a line. So if you write like sweet secrets, right? So, I mean, that was an admission of guilt. Let's face it, right? I mean, if you write that line under, you scribble a naked girl and give it to Epstein, your best buddy,
It's like a big
yeah, I would say How can he be then not involved in any kind of sex parties or whatever, right? So, and that's insane. That's that was free. That was for me like damning evidence. And uh, I mean, he got away with so much in the past, right? That he just says, it's not me, it was not me, blah, 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 blah. And he knows at times then it goes slowly away. The pressure goes away. But he lost a lot of friends like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, all that big podcasters, Joe Rogan. They insisting that the Epstein files getting released. And they're not big Trump fans anymore based on this. He lost a lot of support from these people who made him president, because without all that podcasters, he would never won an election. That and that was a thing where I feel also like that shows that he doesn't care about them anymore. Okay, now he's in power, and you see also how his wealth grows. His Jared Kushner bought with the Saudis together EA,
Oh, Electronic Arts. I heard
electronic
about
art
this.
for
That's
50
fucking
billion.
crazy.
50 billion. And I mean, Jared Kushner didn't provide it more as 200 billion. And the rest paid the Saudis. So now you know also why, whatever, all the comedians go now to Saudi Arab to perform comedy. I mean, the Saudis have the money, and, and they, like, if you can be like a prehistoric Islamistic linchpin and execute people daily, if you have enough money, nobody cares. If you're a poor Islamistic country, everybody hates you, right?
Yeah.
So Afghanistan, whatever, Syria, Sudan, whatever, then everybody hates you.
Well, did you hear in the news that Mega is really going crazy because Trump gave Qatar a military base on the U.S.?
No, where?
Yeah, I don't know. I have to look it up. Let me look
Ireland,
it up. I'll look that one up too. Hold on a sec.
yeah,
That just hit the news today. Hold on a second.
yeah. I'm in the military. Why? No other country has in America a military base. I mean, that's
Qatar, U.S. military base. Qatar. Why is Qatar building an Air Force training facility at a U.S. military base? 5 hours ago,
yeah,
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said Friday that the United States will host a Qatari Air Force training facility at an Idaho air base. Hegseth later said the airbase itself would remain under U.S. jurisdiction after his announcement triggered online backlash from those mistakenly thinking the decision would amount to having a foreign military base on U.S. soil. But even so, why are we training Qatari fucking people in the U.S.? Qatar would not be the first country to send its pilots to train with the U.S. military. Air Force units from friendly countries such as Singapore and Germany are hosting training facilities in the United States. That's fine, though. I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's in the US. They train them. Maybe Qatar pays money for it, but the point is that
In Idaho,
in Idaho,
potatoes.
there's nothing. They need jobs from Qatar. So, yeah, I know. I mean, a lot of things like this they happening. And as I said, I criticize Trump. We have here in Germany, we have the opposite kind of censoring. Here's the censoring from the woke left, that everybody who has a different opinion about subject matters like migration, whatever, is a Nazi and should shut the fuck up and go to jail. So we have this same what Trump is now pulling in the US. We have that here from the left. So it's not
Yeah. You know where it
one-sided.
started. It started with people saying because there were things that were being said at certain points by certain people that reminded them of acts that were done back in the Third Reich, whatever, in that era. So then they say they're a Nazi, and instead of saying you are, you know exhibiting fascistic tendencies or whatever. They say that, just to kind of sum it up, but it's been abused. It's been abused to the point that people roll their eyes and don't want to listen anymore. And at the same time, nobody wants to be kind of like chastised and like, you're so bad. That's terrible. Who do you think you are? You know what I mean? Nobody wants to be taught to that way. And I think that it would be so nice if people who don't agree would just respect, because like when fucking what's his name died, when that dude we were just talking about died, when he got shot in the neck.
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, me and a friend got into a fight about it, and I played it really cool because he was offended because a friend of mine was called, I think she was called him a Nazi or said something like that. And she's a friend of mine, and she can say whatever she wants. He started to make fun of her. He started to attack her, and I say I can't tell people how to feel. You know what I mean? But it's not me condoning the guy's death. And I said, look at this and look at that. Like I said, like I showed him your post about how you felt. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not celebrating his death just because I don't attack people who
But I
don't
think,
like Charlie Kirk. You know what I mean?
no,
Um,
but I think what you said in the beginning today on the podcast, that you're scared that it gets more and more violent. And but it's also from the left, the Antifa, the pro-Palestina people, the LGBTQ community. They're also getting very aggressive, very, very aggressive.
well, you know what I think it is? You know what I think it is, honestly? I think that people are really frustrated and scared because of all the liberties that Trump is taking away from the LGBT whatever community. And this is somebody, I'm not involved in that community. And I can say that if I was transgender, I'd be shitting my pants right now. So those people are probably extremely frustrated. And I'm just trying to be empathetic and think in the mind of that person. So those people are probably extremely frustrated. And then I look at myself and how frustrated I am with all the changes that's being done to our society every day, like all these people in government being furloughed and laid off, and our government working less efficiently, Department of Education closing, all this other crazy shit. And it's a very frustrating time to be alive, to feel like you have no voice, to feel like the people that you've elected into uh, power in the Senate and Congress, people we've elected into power, are doing nothing um, to represent us. Um, it feels like we're powerless, and that's when people, it gets dangerous, and that's when people start to take things into their own hands and become vigilantes because they've been empowered by whatever TV and movies, whatever. It's not because of drugs or alcohol or video games. It's because of frustration in the end with our current climate. And if Trump would just let go of his squeeze just a little bit and let the other side have a little bit of a say, at least pretend that the other side has a little bit of say, to give people some hope, because it's such a dark time for people on the right, it's Candyland time. For people on the left, it's a dark, dark time. So I think we just need to be empathetic of both sides. The right isn't shouldn't be like, we gleefully, I'm gonna piss on the other side. The other side is kind of mourning right now. They're kind of like super shocked and depressed and stunned. And it just keeps getting worse and worse every day, if you ask me.
Yeah, but
I would never condone violence though.
no, exactly. And I mean, that is the thing what changed. There were people celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, like that guy deserved to die based on the stuff he said.
And
And
that's too far.
that's
That's
too
too
far,
far.
period.
Yes, it is too far.
So,
Because
you
I
have
mean,
to accept, like, that's the same thing when I have discussions here, saying about the migration in Europe. A lot of crimes happening. That's the reason for my films Run and Citizen Vigilante, right? So, and the thing is this, you can be completely open for migration. You can be, as you see in New York, there are 100 different from 100 different countries in New York that live together and that all do their thing, right? So, and uh, where I draw the line is when you go in a different country and you turn just a taker or a criminal, then you have no business there. So when you say this in Germany, you're now a right-wing nut. And that's the problem. The
Yeah.
problem is in England too, people getting arrested criticizing migration. So they're getting jail time for it.
Oh
So
yeah, the UK, they'll arrest you for online posts.
yes, that's insane. And that's the point. I mean, if the governments don't see anymore the difference between action and talk, right? So then they're not getting it. If they think talk is more prosecutable, like even worse as action, and when you have then rapists getting 1 year psychological evaluation instead of any jail time, because these poor guys, they couldn't handle it, they had to just rape that girl. And
Ah,
other, no, it's true. In Europe, you have
I
that.
hate to laugh about that, but
Yeah,
I
but it's
mean,
true. That's exactly
yeah.
what's happening here. People getting off the things with, oh, he's only 17, he's from Afghanistan, he was sexually oppressed, whatever. Now he sees a girl in the bikini, he had to rape her. So, but what's happening with the girl? That there are over and over judgments like this in Germany. And so, and that's the thing where you divide the people more and more, where you think, okay, he didn't actually violent crime and he gets no jail time, but the guy who said to the whatever German foreign minister she's a fucking cunt, who said it in a Twitter thing, gets a year. Like in Germany nobody went to jail for it, but you get like harsh like money penalties, right? So you feel like that it's off, something's off. So and I feel,
Really? So that happened in Germany?
yeah, that happened. That's the main case in my movie Citizen Vigilante. I put in Citizen Vigilante a case from Hamburg where 16 to 18 years old migrant boys raped a 14 years old Hamburg girl. Nobody went to jail. Nobody. The judge said they're all poor migrants, whatever, and they're living free in the same city where their victim lives. And she is absolutely horrified that she basically can cross the
Like,
cross
yeah.
you know. So and that case was for me the trigger point to do Citizen Vigilante. It's not only Citizen Vigilante goes also against other crime people, not migrants, but that one, it's one of the things what then Army Hammer and Citizen Vigilante is doing, because he felt like, what the fuck is this, you know? So and he goes after the judge, you know, because the who is really guilty. These are people, they judging the judges to say, look, whatever, like that there is something wrong with them. I don't know how they got educated, or but there's something wrong. If you completely forget the crime and you only see people as a victim, then like perpetrators as a victim, then something is off. So, and there's nothing positive if Charlie Kirk got shot or Trump got shot or anybody like the husband from Pelosi with the hammer, that there's nothing positive to it, and there's nothing to to uh, um, to basically celebrate. And I feel when we had now this October 7th thing where the whole world was demonstrating basically pro Gaza, you know, that's a prime example. The prime example is that the it went so far that a lot of people forgot what triggered the Israeli army's invasion into Gaza. That they forget that it's no that it's like it never happened to October 7th, the massacre and the rapes and all that stuff. When you see
Yeah,
great,
no, a lot of people got killed, honestly. If you think about the number, that's a lot of fucking people,
yeah,
dude.
1,300 people. That's similar to a September 11th situation. So, you know, and but here it was hand to hand, like chopping the fucking tits off, and you know, like it was a different thing to flying an airplane in the building. I mean, for the victims are the victims, but it was in a way a more distant killing, and not a physically killing everybody like who's running around and then chopping kids up and stuff. So, and that got celebrated in Gaza. They carried the in public the hostages in, and it got celebrated from these mothers and kids on the street. So that doesn't justify what Israel is doing in Gaza. It doesn't justify it. It's too much what they're doing. Too many people are killed. I looked on Google Earth. I looked it up myself. It's really, Gaza City is completely destroyed. That's ridiculous, especially if you have no plan where to put the people then. So, and that's, I'm
Well,
not.
did you see what they're offering them? They're offering them peanuts. They're offering them like $500 and uh, like $500 and then something like a small apartment in the future, or they can take something else. Like the plans that they have are really stupid, are really
Yeah,
bad.
but where's that apartment coming from?
It's in that city that Trump wants to build, that Trump has unveiled, the new mega city. You heard about that, right?
Yeah, but look, nobody builds a city in a year.
Yeah.
The Chinese maybe, but not Donald Trump, right? So, and I mean, let's face it, if you're there now in your rubble, destroyed building, and you have no more clean water, then if somebody says you get an apartment in 4.5 years, that is no help. That is like, what the fuck is this? It's absurd. So, and
Knowing Trump's record, that city will never be built. If it is built, it'll be 20 years and it'll be all fucked up. You know what I mean?
yeah, you have to put over 1.5 million people into Israel or into Egypt to wait it out, or in tents, like tent towns, like where you have like this Senegal, Sudan refugee camps. So that is what's happening, and that's what I mean. It's like, but there is also, and that was the thing when at the UN, when Netanyahu was talking and everybody left the room in New York, was actually when I was in New York, was that UN meeting there, right, where everybody was talking. That was the reason Brooklyn and everything, it was so full everywhere. It was crazy. So, and I mean, sorry, but you can hate Netanyahu, but you cannot. The speech he did, 80% of the stuff he said is 100% correct. 100%. And he said 2005, they voted at Gaza. It was their land. They could do whatever they want. They voted, and they voted the Hamas as the government in. They won the elections. So they support the Hamas. They supported thousands of basements where they were hoarding weapons. They celebrated every attack on Israel, every exploding bus, rocket shooting all the time. He said, what would be if Mexico would just regularly shoot rockets into US, like regularly, like every week, 20, 30 rockets. He said, that's what happens from Gaza to Israel. They have the Iron Dome, so they catch the rockets. But the reality is that he said, like, but that's all the facts. And then on October 7th, they went and killed 1,300 people, took 800 hostages. And then what are you expecting what Israel will do after it? Like nothing, some peace talks. So I mean that Israel would react like harsh. I'm 100% pro-Israel there, but I'm not 100% pro-Israel anymore if it's dragged out over a full year, and then it's more and more people starving to death, and it's more and more total chaos, and it's obvious that you don't get the hostages back, and you don't reach your target.
Well, it wasn't done in a humanitarian way. Like children were starving.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That was, yeah.
No, but and there was like people. Tucker Carlson was a guy who was there, a U.S. military person who was there to distribute food, and he said in Gaza City you could not distribute food to anybody. He said they were shooting, like both sides were shooting. There were fights, right? And he said we cannot distribute food in an active war zone where like any moment the hand grenade could explode by you, right? It would be like, it's impossible. And he said they were not agreeing, the Israelis were not stopping to fucking bomb and not stopping to fight. And he said that that's a no-go. You have to say between whatever 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., there is no bullets here. Nothing will happen. And they can deliver food to that because the majority of the people live in Gaza City. And then Israel said, but there are other places you can get food. Yeah, but if you don't have a fucking car and you're in a war zone, you cannot walk 30 miles to get a soup. You have to bring it to them where they actually are, right? So, and that was one of the big problems. It was a very good podcast with this guy on Tucker Carlson, And and that was the thing where I feel like that's they lying, the Israelis lying, and they went on a revenge maniac spree, but also similar to Zelensky in the Ukraine. Netanyahu knows as long that war goes on, he is safe. They had so many
Yeah.
times where they wanted to put him in jail, where they wanted to charge him, where they got rid of him. So he knows, similar to Zelensky, as soon as that thing is over, they focus back on him.
Well, he was in the middle of trials when this happened.
What? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but they're all on stop. They're all on hold based on a national.
Yeah. No, they forgot all about him.
Yes, and that's the thing. But let's do the last thing now, very quick. Our House of the Dead, 23 years later, Return to Zombie Island idea. What I'm, let me explain it in a way I told it to you yesterday. So, Sony and Paul Anderson will do House of the Dead, a new movie based on the Sega game. My movie will be, of course, discussed again, seen again. It's the original, and we will be in all the articles, when people talk about the new movie coming up, they will talk about our movie. So I contacted all the old actors from the first owner, Grower, Jonathan Sherry, Will Sanders, and Tyron Letzo, everybody who was in the original. They all said they would do it again. They would come back. And I said, but you would be turned into zombies, right? So, but maybe you can be a little more intelligent zombies, like you can talk a little or whatever. So you find a way that they can communicate. They were all excited. They all said they would come back. So I felt I cannot name the movie House of the Dead. So, but 23 years later is actually 23 years later now after a House of the Dead movie. And it's also parody on 28 years later. And then at the same time, Return to Zombie Island, I think people will understand what's happening. And I think it's a great idea. And we did, like on ballfilms.com, people could pre-buy stuff, put even themselves in the movie. And I hope our listeners will go on ballfilms.com and maybe buy a perk right now. We're getting some money together to.
And just know that if the film is not made, you will get your money back, guys. And this is
Yeah,
like
but
kind
I'm
of
counting on. It's not like Postal 2 this time. It's not a crowdfunding in this way. I'm not counting on financing that movie with this perk. But if we get a fan base just putting some money in for a media book already, whatever, it will help. And it shows also that the fans are still there, that they want the product. And I still calculate that we can get that movie financed with sales, that people, Lionsgate or whatever, they're looking at the project now, that other film companies, other buyers, the buyers from the original film, that they hopefully will shove some money over. That's my game plan. And I feel good about it. It would be, I watched the film 2 days ago in Hamburg in a kind of a Best Buy market. They have a whole gaming section and they had a movie theater. And 200 people bought a ticket for $6 to watch this with me in attendance with the podcast. And it was a great evening where you had so many people that wanted the signatures, whatever, they had the DVD with them. And most of them said in the question and answering situation, they said, look, we loved the movie. It's stupid. The movie is stupid and funny and stupid and gory, but it works as it is. It's a campy horror zombie movie. And that's the way we want to do it again. Against the Paul Anderson guy, let's face it, he will do a lot of CGI. You will have thousands of zombies. You will have Mila Jovovich fighting for her life, and I think it could like be the little outsider David against Goliath to come up with a new movie like this, and then hopefully Halloween next year we're getting a few movie theaters to play at Halloween. That's the
yeah,
plan.
it's going to be great, huh? That sounds really cool. I'm really excited.
Yeah. So, and everybody who goes on ballfilms.com find there the 23 years later, but also maybe everybody should Twitter it around, should send it around, share the link to everybody. That would be helpful for everybody who's.
And Uwe was showing me some really cool tech yesterday that with one of the perks is like put your face on one of the actors so you could
Yeah,
be placed into the film with just like you give us a photograph of yourself and your face is digitally imposed onto the actor and it looks a lot like real life. It looks like it
yeah.
really you. Yeah.
And then so you could be your own zombie. You can pick you're a guy fighting the zombies or you are a zombie. And so we face to your face with everything to zombie like, and then you get like shredded, massacred, cut in half, whatever. And so you get then in the end a DVD with your scene in the movie. So I cannot promise everybody who we host in the photo will be in the final of the movie, but I promise you get a copy with your scene in no matter what. And that's cool. I mean, that's $600, but that's $600 also because we have to make this. It's work. It's like a kind of a CGI specialist has to put that together, and a
Yeah.
technician has to master your own master basically, so that you get your Blu-ray or DVD out of it. So
It's like having your own version of the film made for you, starring you, for only
yeah,
$600. That's a really good deal, I think.
yeah, and it's like yeah. I hope we get some support, and I hope we can shoot the movie. We would have to shoot it March, April to be ready for Halloween. That we can plan it and get a little Halloween release. And yeah, I mean, the whole world knows House of the Dead. And if we can fill 23 years later, if we can sell 200 tickets in Hamburg in an evening to show the old one, I think we can fill more theaters with a new one. You know,
Yep. Yeah. No, I think that a new one would be a cult classic if people could see the connection to the old one.
yeah, even
And
Tim Allen
that's,
wants to come back.
yeah, that's where everybody online comes in, where you guys have to spread the word. Let
Yeah,
everybody know that this is kind of like the soft sequel to House of the Dead by Uwe Boll, starring the original cast, just like he said, and directed by the original director, Uwe Ball. That
yeah,
sounds like a fucking treat, I think.
I would watch it. And as my wife always says, she looks at the internet traffic and she said House of the Dead from all my movies has the biggest still traffic and relevance from all the movies I did. What is kind of sad when you think what great movies I did, but it has the biggest traffic still. So it created this really cult following, you know, and that's not so bad.
No,
Okay,
that's how
long
I
enough.
discovered you. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
I know. Okay, so let's finish it up. Watch us on Uwe Boll Raw or on my YouTube channel and wherever you want.
All
Okay.
right. Yeah, guys, please like, subscribe, and share this program. We need your help to grow. I know you guys all love the Twitter, whatever, X, Uwe Ball Raw, but if you could actually repost the show itself, that would be really good because a lot of you guys ignore the show, and we need this to grow. We need people to know about this very special, awesome House of the Dead, and I will supply links to it. I will post some on the Uwe Ball Raw, and I hope that you guys have a fantastic day, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.